Are you tired of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and you want something bigger and better and greater? Well, this is the VIVO X Fold 3 Pro. It could be your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Julian Tech Reviews. This is Julian and we have a doozy today. Now I'm going against my morals on the foldable market and pivoting to a foldable that I believe is going to make you change your mind about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. And this is the VIVO X Fold 3 Pro. This is the third generation of VIVO, which is their foldable phone in China. They did, however, create a global variant, which makes it easier for us in the United States to review and to properly analyze against the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. But before we get into this video, would you please like and subscribe this channel? We greatly appreciate it. It looks like a lot of people watch these videos relative to my size, but 90% of you don't even subscribe. I mean, that's a travesty, that's a crime. I mean, come on guys, it's just hitting a button. And here's the button right here, it's right below. Go ahead and hit that button for me. And also, if you feel free, if you feel kind and generous, please donate and hit that donate button below. We greatly appreciate it. We wanna buy these $1,000 phones and review them for you. And wanna allow you to make the best decision that you can. But it really helps for us if you just hit that donate button. But with that being pushed aside, let's go ahead and talk about it. So what is the question that we're gonna ask regarding this phone? Is this actually better than the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6? Is it the best foldable on the market? We're gonna answer all these questions, but we're gonna start, as every video, with specs. Specs, specs, specs. That is the theme of this phone. This has all the specs that you are wanting on a foldable phone. It seems like VIVO has been listening to the market and they have understood the assignment. But let's let you decide that, with these specs. So the first thing we're gonna look at is the body. So go ahead and talk about the screen. So outside of this screen, and this is a beautiful screen, it's 6.5 inches. When you open it up, it's a whopping 8 inches. I repeat, 8 inches. Now you think with all these inches of the phone, does it weigh a lot? No. This actually weighs 236 grams. Now that is 8 ounces. And to be in the comparison to an iPhone or, with the latest iPhone, I mean, just bare bones, it's lighter than iPhone. So you're not gonna have that issue when you put it in your pocket and feeling like, oh, what's this big bulky thing? This is truly what we've been asking for, a tablet phone that looks like a phone. How about that? And let's talk about the resolution, right? So this is a foldable LTP AMOLED 1B colors, 120 hertz refresh rate, HDR10 plus, Dolby Vision with 4,500 nits of peak brightness. I repeat, 4,500 nits of peak brightness. Now, comparison to the best tablet in America, which is OnePlus, they're only up 2,700 nits of peak brightness. And I'm gonna show you, if you don't believe me, that's what it is. Now, let's go into talk about the platform. So this is Android 14. But since we are using a global variant, and the traditional VIVO uses Origin OS, which is only a China exclusive, China ROM. But since this is a global variant, they use FunTouch 15, which is based on Android 14, and it can go up to Android 15. And this has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 chip. It has octa-core and it has an Adreno 750. Now here's where the money is being made for VIVO, other than being a foldable. It is the cameras. So it has a triple camera setup. It has a 50 megapixel wide angle camera, a 64 megapixel periscope telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom. It has a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. It has a laser autofocus with Zeiss optics. Here it is. It has dual LED flash panorama. This shoots up to 8K at 30 frames per second. Okay, that is beefy stats for a phone, let alone a foldable phone. Now let's talk about the cover camera. The selfie camera is a 32 megapixel wide angle camera. And then let's go ahead and open this up. It is a 32 megapixel wide angle camera. So what we learned thus far is that this is beefy, beautiful stats and specs so far. All right, now let's talk about the comms. So this is Bluetooth 5.4. It has NFC. It has infrared port. I repeat, an infrared port, which means that you can use this as a remote control to change your television wherever you are if you don't have a remote. It has USB Type-C 3.2. And let's talk about some other features, which are the sensors, which is a dual fingerprint screen, which is ultrasonic. So traditionally, foldables currently have side-mounted fingerprint scanners. However, VIVO decided to keep the ultrasonic fingerprint on the cover screen and on the tablet screen. And then it also has an accelerometer, face unlock, which is very, very good. And it has a gyro and proximity sensor, a compass, a barometer, color spectrum. All right, let's talk about the battery. The battery is a whopping 5,700 milliamps. I repeat, 5,700 milliamps. That is blowing Samsung out the water with their under 4,000 milliamp battery. It has 100 watt wire charging. I repeat, 100 watt wire charging, up to 50 watts wireless charging, and reverse wireless charging. Those are the specs, and I think these are the best specs on the market for any foldable phone on the market. All right, so now the specs are out the way, let's go ahead and talk about what we have here. So as I mentioned before, this is a global variant. The global variant means that this is able to take the best of China, which is their hardware and all of what you see here, the souped up battery, everything. And then they're going to use the software that's tailored to the global market. And this is why you want to get this phone, because not only does it have the best specs and the best hardware, is using and utilizing the Android software that you can use Android Auto, which works flawlessly. You can use your watches that have Wear OS, which was a huge issue in my videos before when we were talking about Chinese ROM. And you can essentially get all of your cell phone coverage and everything associated with it. Generally, there's no problems with that, with the setups. But I have T-Mobile, and one thing you have to look out for is that the chip will work. However, you may potentially get some slight denigration of your cell phone service. So you won't get the 5G ultra clear unless you can configure it in a certain way, which I haven't necessarily found out, but you will get a 5G signal. And I can attest to that, and it does work. So just keep that in mind whenever you're talking about this. And we've talked about this being a global run and everything. What about the price? I can get all these specs and I can get my cell phone coverage in the United States. What does this cost? Well, the Chinese version of this phone costs $1,200. And I've seen it as high as maybe 17, because they do have variants that go beyond, 1 terabyte. This one right here is a 16 gigabyte RAM with, I think 256 gigs of storage. So let's go ahead and talk about the price for this global variant. Well, unfortunately, VIVO has picked up that a lot of people outside the United States do want outside of China does want this phone. So they charge it a whopping $2,000. Okay, I know it's a lot, guys. I know, but that $2,000 price, you're paying for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. You're paying $1,900 for the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Whenever the OnePlus Open came out, it was about $2,000. I think that this is worth it, and you should just bite the bullet and do it. And go on. You can find these on eBay and other forums if you just Google it. But Google the global variant, and I promise you, you won't be turned into the wrong direction. So just that's basically it. And let's go ahead and look at the setup. So the setup is your traditional Android. So as I mentioned before, this is the global variant. So it does have, as I show you here, the system. It has FunTouch OS, which is Android 14, and it will go up to 15. So as you can see, I mean, it is kind of a fingerprint magnet. So, but let's go ahead and look at the settings so far. So with all my phones, I go to the display and I turn on the dark theme sometimes. I do the auto rotate and I just amp up everything. So we have the professional screen colors. We have the high refresh rate. Okay, no smart switching, no standard 60 Hertz. We have all the visual enhancements. Okay, and then obviously we turn into the gestures to where I can use the gestures and all that, blah, blah, blah. And then we have foldable options here. So there is a flex mode, which basically means when half folded, your phone will turn the top of the screen into a viewing area and the bottom half into a convenient control panel. So turn it into a miniature computer. Okay, and then it has a smart screen shift. So what I do, this feature is one that Samsung does have and all the other ones, where you can kind of look at the screen on the outside when you kind of put it in a tint or flex it where you're lifting it up. So it is present on this one. And then it has also a taskbar at the bottom, and you can either keep it there or you can hide it, whatever. All right, and then that's pretty much it when it comes to that. It does have a side panel like Samsung where you can access some of your quick toggles and quick apps right here. Okay, and it does have multitasking. Now, the cool thing about this multitasking is that you can change your recents with the push of a button right here from a horizontal kind of 2-row display to a just horizontal giant display here. Now let's talk about the multitasking. So with multitasking, it is very good on this one as well. And the way that you can multitask is go to an app and you use your 3 fingers. So it's very gesture based, and just swipe up, and then there goes the split screen. And let's go ahead and choose an app. So there you go. You have 2 screens up. You have the internet on this side, and on the right side, you got YouTube. And what's also cool is that not only can you access the apps here to create a 3rd screen, a floating screen, you can do it down here. But for now, we're gonna do it from right here, and we're gonna put Facebook out there. You can switch it with the split screen, or you can kind of run it, where's it goes? You can run it right here in the middle, and it'll create the small window. So now you have 3 screens. And let's see what happens when we rotate it. The 3 screens are still there, and the floating screen is still here. Now, if we hit that icon button right here in the middle, you can also switch from the vertical apps right here to a horizontal app. So you have the option to do that. And then when you turn, the same thing will happen. So you're able to utilize this 8-inch screen to its fullest extent. And I must say, I don't really, when it's just talking about just the display here, I don't really see or feel the crease. I know it's there, and with all other foldables, it is present, but right here, it is immaculate. You can barely see it. And this is very sturdy. And I just can't believe that this company has, the ability to create, this hardware and being able to merge the software just, flawlessly, in my opinion. All right. Now, with any phone, it does have you know, some hinge exposure right here, but you know, obviously you can get cases and whatnot to make it, you know, more protected. All right, now let's talk about some other neat features here. So as I mentioned, you can look at your phone here, but there's a thing called tint mode. Okay, so obviously when you put it in tint mode, it shows up right here. And I can see it in that format, and I can see it in this format. Okay. Another neat feature, it does have a sliding silence button here. So you can just hit the button and you're automatically in silent mode. It has the power button right here. It has the volume rocker right here. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the speaker's on the bottom and then there's a speaker on the top. So overall, this phone has been very good when it comes to feeling it in your hands and carrying it on a daily basis. I keep a nice little screen or little case protector right here. This carbon fiber case right here. Just slap that on there. I don't have the traditional packing, and I got this off of eBay on a used deal because I didn't want to pay the $2,000. So I got this for a nice deal. So he included the case. But if you're in the if you get the traditional packaging, you do get a 100-watt charger, and you get the cable, and then you get a case that goes with it. Now this only comes in two colors. There's only the white and the black variant. But if you get the global variant, you only get an option of the black variant. So just keep that in mind while you are deciding if you want to get this or not. But there's other cases that make this a very good, you know, viable option for you in the future. All right, let's talk about the cameras. So as I mentioned before, this has, you know, one of the better cameras on the market when it comes to foldables. Now, the camera app is very intuitive. Oh, there's me. And it has all your traditional modes. It has snapshot, it has night mode, portrait mode, photo, video, cinematic portrait. But when you go to this more options, this is where it let loose. It has high resolution. It has a pano, ultra HD document, slow-mo, time-lapse, long exposure, super moon, astro, which is you can look in the sky and you can map out the stars, pro mode, food mode, live mode. Now, when I talk about the camera on this, I'm going to show you an example of some of the pictures I've taken, and you're going to be blown away by what you see. So just take a look at these pictures and let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, those pictures were very nice. Now let's go ahead and talk about what the sound is on this tablet phone. And we're gonna start with the little sample here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. It's not the loudest, but it gets the point across. But let's go ahead and talk about visual aid. We're talking about video quality. let's go ahead and take a look at, let's say, my videos and see if I can get, you know, a better understanding of what mine looks like from my perspective. This is by far one of the best experiences. I mean, I've come back to this phone, you know, multiple times because I'm testing multiple phones. Yeah, sometimes I like to go test out the new Google Pixel AA. I had that for about a couple of days, but something kept calling me to come back to this Sony experience because I just love this dedicated shutter button where you can just level it up and hold it, and it's just a shooter. So that's great. But also, when it comes to the cameras, obviously the cameras are great. And you saw in the videos and the pictures that they're awesome. There are some issues whenever it goes beyond, you know, a certain distance. But during the daylight, I mean, this is probably the best camera on the market with the natural colors and everything. And I just love this nice and bright display. I mean, as you can see, this is a very good video YouTube experience, and it really takes full advantage of the real estate of this 8-inch screen, and just hands down easy to watch. I mean, the square, you know, tablet format right here makes it really sharp, and you know, the pixels really stand out. I mean, the brightness is super bright. I mean, you definitely adjust well. I mean, as you can see, you're not going to have any issue looking into this while you're in the sun. So just keep that in mind when you're, you know, ordering this, that you are getting probably like some of the best specs on the market. And the next thing we're going to talk about is, does this work out when it comes to gaming? Are there any lags? Well, I'm going to show you. In my opinion, there's no lags on this, but let's go ahead and look into, you know, one of the games that I play a lot, which is called Asphalt Legends. Okay, let's see what we got here. So as you can see, it has all the pixels popping. I mean, this is not even turned all the way up to the highest brightness. Yeah, I'm getting, you know, full quality. I mean, just look at the format. I mean, it doesn't even, it does it automatically where you don't even have to like worry about the resolution or anything being cut off. It's ultra responsive. Okay. So as you can see, the gaming was working flawlessly. And I just wanted to show you one more thing. The transition, if you wanted to switch to not the big screen, you can go switch here, it automatically pauses for you, and you're back at it. And let's say, for instance, you don't like the settings of your game. You can go to swipe to the right on this menu. And right now it's on balance mode. But if you want to get it boosted, I mean, you have like this option there, and it tells you what it does to your CPU and your GPU. So this is more than capable for all your gaming needs, you know, for NPC games or whatnot. So this is pretty good. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's talk about battery life. So as I mentioned before, this is a 5,700 milliamp battery. Does it hold up? Well, yes. Obviously, this is one of those Chinese phones where they have 100 watts wireless charging. I mean, it charges up really fast. Under 30 minutes, you get a full charge from 0 to 100. Also, this doesn't burn a lot of battery. It doesn't get hot as much. So you're not going to have any issues with that. I've had this on for maybe like 2 days, and I had to recently charge it up at 10%, but once again, it took me 30 minutes to get back to 100. So once again, the battery life on this one is amazing and you're not gonna have any issues. Now, the last thing we're gonna talk about is my final thoughts on the subject matter of Chinese foldable phones versus, the United or American or global phones in general. My initial thought on this phone was that I'm gonna get exactly what I've been asking for from Samsung, from OnePlus, from Google, and they're foldable. There's always something that hinders people from getting, these type of phones, whether it be the screen size, whether it be the weight, whether it be a display. I'm here to tell you that this phone is it if you're trying to get the best of both worlds, a cell phone that is a traditional candy bar style, one of the biggest screens, I think the biggest screen on the market when it comes to a foldable tablet phone, and all of the specs are here. The battery life is there. The acceptability with your cell phone coverage is there. Android Auto is there. You're getting everything you can, ever imagine. But my flaw, I think, for this phone, more so, and it's not very, and I'm just, picking nits on this one, is that maybe the cell phone service could be a little bit more, I guess, stronger. And I would say probably a little bit more color options for this. If I'm gonna pay $2,000 for a phone, then, I need at least more than just black. But these are just small, gripes. This phone is the best phone on the foldable market, hands down. And Samsung should be ashamed because they allow, these other companies, and I hate bashing on Samsung because they make such quality software and they have good service and hardware is just not there. I'm afraid that I'm gonna keep this phone and take my Galaxy Z Fold back because I can't accept, what Samsung is giving. But if you got a spare $1,700 or you want to sell your Galaxy Z Fold or whatever and put it together to get this, I do recommend you do get this because these Chinese companies are catching up. And now with the global ROM added to it, this is hands down one of the best foldable phones on the market. The look, the feel, the brightness, the specs, it's all there. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I being overly, zealous on this particular brand, or I'm just being practical? I mean, I'm paying $2,000 for a phone. Should I be complaining this much about other phones? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But thank you for, spending some time with me on this wonderful foldable phone. Please comment below, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you.